Hello to this edition of Aditya's Essential Oil Inspiration. Today's topic, lavender. Lavender is the one oil that basically defines the field of aromas. It's the discovery of the many effects of lavender: soothing, making gentle, calming, pacifying, relaxing, and also balancing the energies, that has led to an immense popularity in the 20th and 21st century. And actually, lavender is an oil that fits our time perfectly. We all need to unwind. We all need to get back to our roots. We all need to get back to nature. And what better than to use lavender? I'm going to demonstrate you first how I use lavender. One of my preferred uses is just a drop in the flat hand. Then I activate the oil 1, 2, 3 clockwise, and then I inhale the oil. You can inhale through the nostrils, you can also inhale through the mouth. Try both. You will notice that it has different effects if you go through the nose or if you go through the mouth. Through the nose it has a more mental, emotional effect. Through the mouth, it grounds you, and the effect goes directly into the body. Another thing you can do, you can apply the oil on your hair. So even with my short hair, I will notice quickly that the hair gets much softer. And also, it's a great oil for the skin. You can apply it on the skin, and it really makes the skin smooth and silken. However, one caution: lavender oil tends to dry out the skin. So if you have a wet or fatty skin, no problem, that lavender does exactly what you need. But if you have already a dryish skin, then I recommend you to use a carrier oil like coconut oil together with the lavender oil. Or also you might use an oil high in sesquiterpenes like sandalwood, like myrrh, to bring back the moisture into the skin to balance the effect of the oil. What you will notice if you use it on a regular basis, it makes your skin really beautiful, really delicate. And how can you achieve these effects? By applying it every morning and every evening before going to bed. Try that for 1 month. As I said, if you have a dry skin or a regular skin, then use some sandalwood or myrrh oil or some coconut oil on top of the lavender oil, so that you make sure you don't dry out your skin too much, and you will be amazed how beautiful and shining your skin will be after a month. Then a very interesting topic about lavender is that the lavender that we see on pictures of southern France, of the Provence, is not a real lavender. In fact, it is a hybrid lavender called lavandin. Lavandin is up to 1 meter high, and it grows up to 800 meters sea level. The real lavender, Lavandula angustifolia, grows from 750 meters sea level up to 1,200 or even higher, and is only 30 to 50 centimeters high. The hybrid lavender, lavandin, is propagated by cuttings. And what does it result in? You have a wonderful field and the color looks all the same, because it's actually 150 or 200 of the plants originate from one mother plant. It means on the one hand that the plant doesn't have the same immune power, immune resistance, that a real lavender plant that is propagated from the seed has. Also, interestingly, the hybrid lavender produces up to 10 times as much essential oil as the real lavender, Lavandula angustifolia. Now, interestingly, the big one, the lavandin, the hybrid lavender, has a lot of oil, but not so many ingredients. Whereas the tiny real lavender, the Lavandula angustifolia, has only 1/6 of the oil, but 6 times as much aromatic ingredients. So it's really a question of volume or quantity versus quality. You get a lot of quantity from lavandin, you get a lot of quality from lavender. Now guess what commercial producers of lavender oil will choose. They will choose, of course, the one that creates 10 times as much oil, and unfortunately it has only 1/6 of the special qualities that the real lavender has. So this is one of the things you should really make sure. Of course, in Young Living's case, you always have the real Lavandula angustifolia. Gary Young, the founder of the company, even managed to bring the real lavender from southern France to the Rocky Mountains. And it took him years to cultivate it there. And nowadays we have a great form of Lavandula angustifolia growing in Utah and growing in Idaho. And many farmers of the French Lavender Growers Association have lauded Gary Young for the job he did, because they didn't believe it's possible to grow real lavender in the Rocky Mountains. But again, I remind you, real lavender grows above 800 meters sea level, so the Rockies are great, and the soil should be nutritious, and it needs minerals. And it needs to be not too acidic, it needs to be alkalic enough, 7 Pa in the soil, otherwise the lavender plant doesn't grow. This is why it took Gary about 5 years to get soil ready for the lavender plant. Now, you can use lavender in your laundromat instead of a fabric softener. Why is that? As lavender makes your skin really soft and silken and your hair really tangibly soft, it does so as well with your skin. Now, one of the things many people don't know, fabric softeners are among the worst chemicals that human beings come in touch with. Because fabric softeners can actually break down the fabric of your textiles, thereby making it soft. The problem is, if you're wearing it on your skin, that chemical is still there and it can enter into your skin. So never use fabric softener. What I'm doing, I use 3 to 5 drops of lavender oil instead. Another interesting thing about lavender is it gives fullness. So if you don't have hair like me, but more hair, and you use lavender or lavender oil shampoo, you will notice that you get really this nice fluffy effect. You really get fullness in your hair. Now, how is it usually done? Unfortunately, it's usually done with silicone, by adding silicone to the hair shampoo. That's as bad as having shaving foam, which also often includes silicone, especially if it's really rich and thick. You can be sure your shaving foam contains silicone. Now, why is that not so good? People who use silicone in their lips or in other parts of the body, they will notice that after a while the silicone goes everywhere and it actually grows, it expands because of body temperature. And the problem is you don't get it out of your cells anymore, at least not for a long time. So don't use any products that contain silicone, not good for you. Now, the traditional use of lavender, of course, is for your wardrobe. You can spray lavender, a few drops of lavender in water into your wardrobe on a regular basis. Actually, you can also spray it on your sofa bed. You can spray it on your bed sheets. You can spray it on your curtains. And this has 2 effects. First of all, it's very hygienical. Secondly, it gives it a real nice fragrance and everything smells fresh. Another interesting effect, it keeps away mosquitoes. It keeps away many insects. When I started with the essential oils, I went on a lecturing tour to Russia and Ukraine. It was just my 2nd month of using essential oils. And well, you have no idea, these big Russian trains, they have their windows open only in July and August, and the rest of the year they are locked, and of course they also don't have air conditioning. So you're locked in, in these long distance trains, and the Russian men, the Ukrainian men, they are usually sleeping because they drank a lot of vodka to sleep through the journey. And the women, the Russian women, the Ukrainian women, the babushkas as they are called, they have a lot of food with them in bags, bread and all kinds of stuff that's really spicy, well, sometimes so spicy that it makes you feel a little funny in your stomach. So I was nearing my next town of Nikolaev, that's just north of the Crimea, for my next lecture, and I felt totally exhausted. I didn't have oxygen, and my lecture just started 1 hour after my arrival in the city. So what did I do? I had still lavender oil with me and cedarwood oil with me. And at that time I didn't even know the effects of these two oils, but I really used everything I had to get fresh. I applied it all over my body and I really could breathe again. And you know, oils transport oxygen also into your brain, so you really wake up, and that was what I needed. And the funny thing, my Ukrainian friends receive me on the platform and they say, "Oh, Aditya, you smell so nice." And I say, "Yeah, I was refreshing myself with essential oils." They brought me to the lecture hall, 200 people audience, and what I didn't know yet, about 10 times as many mosquitoes and flies. As soon as the lecture started, all these mosquitoes and flies came swarming out, and they started actually to fly towards me and my translator. And the funny thing happened, mid-air, when they reached about this distance from me, they just fly to the right, to the left. They changed direction and they never came close to me. So all these flies and mosquitoes, they didn't like my lavender cedarwood aura. And it was funny for me to watch, and it was really nice, like a shield. Unfortunately, many of the flies and mosquitoes who didn't get through to me, they flew to my translator. After about 5 minutes, my translator was so much surrounded by flies and mosquitoes. The moment one fly flew directly into his mouth and he nearly swallowed it, he said, "Aditya, we have to stop." And I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And he said, "Don't you see? I'm all surrounded by these mosquitoes and flies." And I said, "Well, what can we do?" And then he said, "Well, look at you. They seem to fly around you. You must be a saint." And I said, "No, I'm not a saint, actually. This is just because I applied lavender oil and cedarwood oil. And I had a little bit left, so I applied it on my translator, and he was very happy afterwards. We could finish the lecture, and the mosquitoes and the fly, they stay in the room with the audience. I didn't have enough oil, unfortunately, for everyone." So that's how you can find out in action how helpful essential oils are. Lavender is really one of the oils for the Lonely Island. It's supposed to have 124 different uses. I once saw a list, and it's amazing. I just should suggest you start working with it. It's great in the diffuser, so you can diffuse it for improving the room atmosphere, the fragrance, and also the ions. It manifests negative ions, so it's very good in clearing too much electro smog. As to all essential oils, here it's more the diffuser that does the trick. But also it creates a real lovely atmosphere, a harmonious atmosphere. As I said in the beginning, if you need to unwind, if you need to calm down, if you come back home from a stressed out day, this is perfect oil. However, if you are in for a romantic date with your beloved, then don't use lavender in the diffuser, because what will happen before it becomes really romantic? You and your partner, or both of you, will tend to fall asleep. That said, of course, it's also great help for falling asleep and having a real nice aromatic sleep with beautiful aroma dreams, maybe in the color purple. So keep oiling, keep anointing, and enjoy the full aroma of the many oils that we have. See you in the next video of Aditya Novotny's Essential Oil Inspirations.